Welcome to the Magnify Your Miracles podcast. Get ready to be inspired, uplifted, and connected to the miraculous energy of unconditional love that I call Mother Mary. If you're a highly sensitive, highly creative entrepreneur or light worker, and you want to magnify your impact and your intuition, you are in the right place. I'm your host, Reverend Frances Faden, interfaith minister, intuitive coach, and author of Meditation is Friendship with God. I can't wait to share miraculous stories, books, meditations, messages, and interviews with other miraculous light workers just like you. Are you ready to magnify your miracles? What are we waiting for? Let's get started. Hello, my miraculous friend, and welcome to another episode of the Magnify Your Miracles podcast. This is Reverend Frances Faden, and I am so grateful that we get to spend this time together helping you magnify your miracles. Today, we have a guest that I have been wanting to get onto the show from the very first episode, and because I know for a fact that she is going to help you to magnify your miracles. We're going to be talking about something truly miraculous today, how you can create your own miracle altar. But before we get into that, let's all take a few deep breaths together and just keep ourselves grounded and centered. If you're driving, please keep your eyes on the road, but we want you to bring your awareness to your breath. And we do this so that we can start to settle down and tune in and start to feel the divine presence, that energy that is always here with us. And it always is present with us in the now. So knowing that whatever it is that you really need to hear today to help you magnify your miracles is exactly what you're going to be hearing. Let's take one more deep breath together in gratitude, and we can begin. All right, my friend. Well, welcome once again. And I am just so overjoyed. I've been looking forward to this for such a long time to introduce you to somebody who is truly an earth angel. And her name is Pat Cassel. And she's going to be talking today this amazing story of how she created miracle altars and how you can create one too. Let me tell you a little bit about her if you don't know who Pat is. Pat is actually a member of my inner circle, Mother Mary's inner circle, and is quite an amazing soul. She's an intuitive, she's an inspirational speaker, a healer, a spiritual teacher, and she's an angel communicator who works with Archangel Michael and her own angels and guides. Pat's life was transformed after she experienced a visit from Mother Mary back in 1991. Several years after Mother Mary's visit, Pat's father and her husband came down, both of them with cancer. And soon after, Pat's mother fell down a flight of stairs and remained in a coma until her death. And not knowing what to do, Pat turned to the one constant rock in her life, which is her faith in God. When she prayed, she surrendered her mind, body, and soul to spirit and to the will of God, knowing that He would guide her. And Pat was assured that she would receive all the help and support that was needed and would never regret the sacrifice that she was being asked to make. In 1998, Pat's father passed, and 7 months later, her mother, and following year, her husband and friend, Catherine. The devastation left an open wound in Pat's heart. There was an emptiness in her life that was later filled with a miraculous healing ministry. In 2004, Pat's hands were anointed by the Holy Spirit through Archangel Michael, and she has seen many miracles since her anointing. Her readings and healing sessions are overseen by Archangel Michael and the 4 archangels, Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, Uriel, the Ascended Masters, Saint Germain, Padre Pio. And she also channels messages and healing from Padre Pio and Mother Mary. And Pat is an ordained minister in the Order of Melchizedek. She is quite the soul, and it is my great honor to welcome my good friend, Pat Cassel. Pat, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. It's my honor to be here.
I was reading your story and I was like, wow, so much loss, so much that you've gone through. And yet here you are being such a light on the planet. And I'm just so grateful for you and for your commitment. So thank you once again for being here. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So I always like to ask all of my guests on the Magnify Your Miracles podcast, what is your definition of a miracle?
Oh, wow. Well, my first thought is any beautiful, blessed gift from God. And not just what we're going to be talking about today with, when people think of miracles, they think of, healing, physical healing, emotional healing, that kind of thing. But, and I remember sharing this story with you. About 2 years ago, I was at the grocery store outside putting the groceries in my car, and the lady next to me needed help. It was an older woman, and I put my groceries in. I went over and I helped her, and when I was finished, I got in my car and I left. Drove home, went to get out of the car, and I didn't have my purse. I left my purse in the shopping cart outside, and I went back immediately and prayed all the way there, crying to Archangel Michael to please find my purse. Please let me help to find it. And I went into the store, and sure enough, someone brought that back in. Everything was in my purse that I had, and I view that as a miracle for me.
Yeah,
that was one of my miracles, because with today, you never know.
Right. Absolutely.
And, yeah, that was a beautiful miracle in my eyes. So it's not always just in physical or emotional, type of healing. Miracles come in many different ways in our lives.
Absolutely. I love that. Thank you so much. And that's the great thing. Whenever I ask my guests that question, it's like everybody's got their own experience of what it is, and I love that you gave us your actual experience of like, oh, that was, and I know for me, that would totally be a miracle. It's beautiful. So Pat, for people that don't know you, I think I met you way back when and knew that you worked with Archangel Michael. And how did you start working with Archangel Michael? I know you channel Michael. I know you work with Padre Pio and Saint Germain, but I know Michael is like your main connection. That's how I think about it. And how did you start with working with him and the angels?
Well, like you said, back in 2004 in my story, in 2004, the doors of spirituality started to open. I mean, they actually opened back in 1991, but I was very cautious as to what I spoke, because I've been able to speak to the angels since I was a little girl, but I didn't talk about it only to my mother. And I was raised in a very strict Catholic home. And my mother believed everything I ever told her. I mean, I even knew from my angels that my favorite aunt, which was her sister, passed away. And I told her she's at home. And Mom said, yeah, I know she went home. And I said, no, she's home.
Like the big home, the real home. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because I always call heaven home. And so I kind of didn't say too much, throughout my life about it. But then I had an experience in 1991. I got up one morning, did my prayers, and my angel said to me, in fact, it was my guardian angel this time, said to me, we want you to go to, and they named the church. And I said, why? And they said, just go. Mother's asking you to go. So I went, and I walked. There's nobody around. I walked into, it was quite a distance from where I live. And I walked in, and when I walked into the church, there was this gold light up in the right-hand corner. And I walked up to it, and I said to my angel, I said, what do I do? And there was a big statue in the corner. I could tell it didn't belong to the church. It wasn't one of those that they had them on the altar and like they do in churches. My guardian angel said, just kneel down and things will happen. And I said, happen? I said, yes. So next thing I know, my angel is giving me the message. Mother Mary, here the statue was Our Lady of Lourdes. That was the traveling statue that goes around the world.
Yeah.
Okay. And that statue was traveling, and it was at this church. And my guardian angel said to me, Mother would like for you to know and would like for you to do something. And I said, oh, absolutely. And the message was I was to go to the Catholic shop in the town where I live. And the lady that owns the shop, I was to go in and tell her that she was to take her niece, who is dying, and take her to see the statue that is coming to the town that I live in. And so I told my husband, and my husband said, you can't do that. They're going to think it's trouble. I said, no, I promised Mother. I called her the Blessed Mother. I said, I promised her. So I went, and the lady didn't bat an eye. She believed me. And she did. The little girl was dying. She was very, very sick. But let me back up to the church when I came out of the church.
Yeah.
Okay. They had a table of different books about Our Lady of Lourdes. And I couldn't make up decide which one I wanted to read. And I thought, I'll just, forget it. I walked out the door, and a man got out of the car at the bottom of the steps, and he said to me, Patricia. And I looked at him, and I thought, I don't know him. He said, this is the book you need to read. And he already had it autographed and everything for me. He was the man that was the caregiver of the statue that traveled around.
Oh, my God. That's amazing. And he called you by name. Wow.
Yes. And it was addressed, he autographed it for me, and there was a message in it. Well, that was the opening of my spirituality.
Yeah.
That many years ago. Well, after I lost my family, as you said, the doors really started to open up for me. and I started going to expos. And I never, there was this one woman that I was just so drawn to, not have readings or not buy this, that, or the other thing, but I kept going over to her table, and finally I went to her table and I signed up to have a reading with her. And I don't know if you know her or not, but her name's Brigitte Boyer.
Oh, yeah.
And, okay, she channels Saint Germain. And I got information on her. She gave lectures and so forth way back then. And I continued to have readings from time to time with her. And in one reading, Saint Germain said to me that before I incarnated into this lifetime, I had a contract with him that when it was the right time, is how he put it, he was going to teach me how to channel.
Wow.
Yeah. So the next day, I began working with him daily for a very long time. Okay. And then one day he said to me, you're ready to expand. And I said, I don't understand. And he said, let me introduce you to Archangel Michael. And I could see Archangel Michael in front of me. It was absolutely wonderful. And he said, you are going to be working with him from now on. He said, I'll intercede from time to time to help you. He said, but he will be the one you're going to be working with.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, Francis, from the beginning, the love I felt from Archangel Michael was nothing that I had ever felt in my life.
Yeah.
Experienced anything in my life. And he's so powerful.
Yeah.
And the angels are telling me, tell her what his name means. And I know that you know, because I've heard you say it before, but for those who don't know, Michael's name means he who is like God.
Yeah.
And that love, like I said, it wasn't anything I had ever felt like before. So
amazing.
that's how my work started with Archangel Michael.
Wow. And so it's really Saint Germain that guided you. I didn't know that. That's fascinating.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I worked with him daily for a long time.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we know Archangel Michael is so powerful, and he definitely wants to spread the light on the planet. And you're definitely somebody that does that. Now, I know that you do readings, you do Archangel Michael readings, you do channelings, you do healings. Tell us how you started with the miracle altar. So first of all, so people who don't know, what is a miracle altar? People have an altar in their home where they go and they pray. What is a miracle altar?
But it's not like like an altar that you have in your home. Like on my altar, I have some statues and what I call my spiritual family, and that I sit and pray in front of every day. In July of 2022, in fact, I'm almost sure this message came through you, and when we did an inner circle one month. Mary Magdalene had come through, and I've always been attracted to her. But in fact, I say good morning to her every day. She had said to me that the Christ wanted to work stronger in me and wanted me to begin to facilitate healing light circles with the Christ energy. And I thought, wonder what that means. And I had no idea what that meant. But she just kept saying, the Christ wants to work stronger through you. So I said, okay. And she said she would help me and guide me, or if I got confused, she'd guide me. So I said, all right. Left it at that. Well, 2 days later, I get a telephone call, and this lady, I don't know her. She wanted to make an appointment with me for a phone reading, and she lived out in the Midwest. And a couple of days later, I did this reading with her, and she had 2 little boys. I believe they were around 6 and 9 at the time. And they had nothing less than 12 seizures a day, each of them.
Wow.
Yeah. And can you imagine what that life was like for all the family? Oh, that just broke my heart.
Yeah.
And so I said to her, well, I'll tell you what, send me 2 of their school pictures, and I'm going to send healing to them twice a day. And they said, I've been given some instructions lately, and I believe this is going to help with what and what I was instructed to do. And so she mailed them to me, and I got like a small TV table, and Mary Magdalene had told me as I was setting it up to place a gold altar cloth on the table. And I asked her, why gold? Because I didn't even have a gold tablecloth. I had to order one. And she said that the gold is the vibration of peace, and that would help as I put people on the altar. So I did it, and I put the children on. Well, by the end of the week, I ended up having 12 children on that altar. I was getting calls from clients. I was getting calls from some good friends that I talked to occasionally. Their grandchildren were having problems. Some were sick. Some were emotionally upset. And that kind of led it all.
Nobody knew about it. They just started calling you.
Yeah. No, I never told anybody. And so that started it. And then the next thing I know, as I'm doing personal readings for people and phone readings, I'm getting these people with very serious health problems.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, why not add them to the altar? So I got another, because the altar for the children, because they all sent me the school pictures, they're quite big. I took another TV table, and I started an adult altar. I've got close to 60 people, and between children and adults, on my 2 altars now.
So that people know. So you have the little TV tray table, you have the gold cloth on it, you have pictures, and you also have names for people that don't have pictures, right?
That's right. That's correct. I print, if they don't have pictures, I just write the full name on a piece of paper, fold it in half, stand it up, so that it's easy for me to see as I'm praying over the table, or over the altar rather. And yeah, that's all was on it. Well, that's not true. Okay, I was guided to place a picture, which I had it. I framed it. A picture of the risen Christ in his white robe and gold light around him.
Mm-hmm.
And on the children's altar, I also had a small statue of Padre Pio. And I know Padre, having worked with him for a long time, he loves children.
Mm-hmm.
So I placed this statue on the altar also.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you have these beautiful altars, and then what is it that you do that facilitates this miraculous energy?
Well, when I do it twice a day. And when I go up to the altar, I speak to them as though they really right there are in front of me. Like, for instance, in the morning when I go up to the altar, I go, "Good morning, children." I was a teacher for 20-some years. I always said that to the children. "Good morning, children." And I look at the altar for the adults and I go, "Good morning, everyone." And then I rub my hands and I place my hands with palms down over the altar. And this is my prayer. And let me share with everybody first. You're going to hear me pause after I say physical healing and after I say emotional healing. And the reason is I look at every picture and every name to send them the physical or emotional healing.
Mm-hmm. And just so people know, I'm going to have this prayer in the show notes so they don't have to worry about trying to write it down. It'll be in the show notes. Okay, go ahead, Pat.
Okay. So like I said, I rub my hands, I place my hands palm down, and I also, the energy that comes through me rocks my body back and forth. Okay. And I feel a tingling in my hands. So here's my prayer. I invoke the Christ light. And I invoke Mother Mary, Padre Pio, Sacred Heart of Jesus, St. Clare, St. Lucy, Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Uriel, and Archangel Raphael. I invoke your healing energy to flow to me and through me, and I gratefully offer my hands and my heart as we send each of you God's physical healing. And we send you God's emotional healing, and we send you God's spiritual healing, and we send you God's love, and God's peace, and God's joy. Trust and believe that you have just received God's gifts of love, peace, joy, and healing. For you each are deeply loved. Love yourself today. Honor yourself today. Respect yourself today. And have a blessed day. We bless you in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Namaste.
Mm.
And I do make the sign of the cross as I say, we bless you in the name of the Father.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, and it doesn't take long, Francis. Mm-hmm. Maybe 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm. So you do that twice a day?
Yes. And
so share with us, what are the miracles that you've seen from this?
Oh my gosh. And everything happens at divine time.
Right.
There's a client that I see on a regular daily basis, or not daily, monthly basis. And he was to have hip surgery, replacement surgery. Mm-hmm. And she told me, when she came in, God love her, she could hardly walk to sit with me. And I said to her, what's going on? And she said, they're telling me I have to have a hip replacement. And I said, how bad is this? And she said, Pat, on a scale of 1 to 10, my pain is a 20.
Oh, my God.
Yes. Can you imagine? And she said, I don't want to have surgery. But she said, I can't take this pain. So I talked to her about the altar. And she had given me pictures because I had told her a little bit about the children's altar, and I said I was starting an adult altar because she had given me pictures of her, some of her grandchildren and niece, and they I can't remember what was wrong with one of them, but they were healed like within a month. But today she tells me, I just saw her last month, and she said to me, my pain is at a 2. And she said, it's something I can tolerate.
Wow.
And I know. And the doctor said, well, then there was no reason to do hip replacement.
Wow. That's amazing.
Isn't that something?
Yeah. And what about the two little boys, those 2 little boys? Tell us what happened there.
Yeah,
the ones with the seizures.
That is an up and down thing with them. And Mother Mary told me that there's healing positively going on, but there's some, I'm going to call it karma because I can't remember her exact words, in family history, that their seizures are being they're caused by. But the last time I spoke to her, the one little boy had very few, if none, seizures. And the other one, he's triggered by illness because he does have some physical issues. So they definitely, she gives me updates every couple of months about them.
Wow.
But I had a little boy, a 2-year-old boy, that a friend of mine, the mother was a client of hers. She's an attorney. And they were talking about her little boy, and this little boy has leukemia. He's only 2 years old. And so she, on her own gave me the little boy's name. And I placed him on the altar. And about, I think 6 months ago, she told me that his cancer's in remission.
Wow. Amazing.
I know. Isn't that amazing? But Tom, going back to seizures, I had probably 4 or 5 people, some adults and some children like the age of 12. I have some on there. And I know the 12-year-old, I just spoke to the mother not long ago, and she said she rarely has seizures anymore. And I just got a text last week or the week before from an adult that's on the altar, and she told me she's 6 months free from seizures.
Wow. That's amazing.
I know. Isn't that amazing? And then I have a client that I do phone readings with from time to time. And she called me one day and she said, Pat, I want to do a reading. She said, there's something going on with my shoulder. And I said, okay. So we did a reading, and I was guided to tell her about the altar. And I knew that she was struggling because she raises horses. And she's the caregiver, And she said, it's a struggle. I have to be careful, she said, how I pick up bales of hay and lean over to clean up the stalls and so forth. And she said, it's in my shoulder. And she said, I had an x-ray done, and they tell me it's a torn ligament, and they might have to do surgery. So she sent me her picture. I put it on the altar, and a week later, she calls me and she said, Pat, I don't have any more pain. It's gone. She said, I went to the doctors, and they thought they made a mistake. Like in the x-ray, reading the x-ray and so forth. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just spoke to her 2 days ago, and she said, she's still good.
That's amazing.
I know. The other, and this, so that people don't get hooked up on what they would like to see as a miracle, but allowing God, okay? I have another client that I see on a regular basis, and she brought me a picture of her husband. And he has a lot of physical ailments. He's a diabetic. He has a pacemaker. He lost hearing in one ear, and just 2 months ago, he lost it in the other ear. And so I've had him on the altar, and I don't know, it wasn't last month. I think it was 2 months ago. she always gives me an update on him. And she said, there's no change, in his physical at all. And she said, but she said, he is telling people, speaking to people like his children and close friends, relatives, that he loves them.
Mm.
He said he's always shown love, given love. He's a beautiful soul, but he's never been able to speak the words.
Mm-hmm.
But now he is telling, like his son, he told his son, I like 3 times in one day, how much he loved him.
Wow.
So
that's a miracle.
That is a miracle. He loved them, but he just could never put the words out there.
Yeah.
So go in with an open mind is what I always say. And let God guide the healing the way is going to help you best.
Now, I'm being told, Mother Mary's telling me now, that it's important to say to people, like if you do have your own personal altar in your home, that this is something you would do in addition. It's not something you put on your main altar. This would be a separate altar that you would set up. So that's what you'd say, right, Pat?
That's correct.
Yeah, Mother Mary wanted me to emphasize that. So it's not just putting pictures on your altar. Your altar is for you. This is really something else, because I'm hearing that Spirit is really working with these energies even between the times that the prayers are happening. Building up the energy. Yeah, building up the energy.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I know. And you'll never know where the angels are going to intercede. Mm-hmm. I mean that. I'll give you an example. This was about 3 weeks ago now. I went to the grocery store. It wasn't the regular one I go to, but I stopped in this one grocery store, and I was in where the fresh fruits and vegetables are at. And I had picked up my fruit, and I was going towards the scale to weigh it. And this other older gentleman, he and I bumped carts. And I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry." I said, "Excuse me." And I said, "Please go ahead. I don't mind. I'm not in any hurry." So he went up to the scale. He had quite a few things, and he started chatting with me. And he was saying, how now this man's probably in his middle 80s, maybe late 80s. And he was saying, groceries are so expensive, he said, especially for those of us on a fixed income, So we got to chatting, and he said, as an example, he said to me, my car insurance. He said, I hardly drive at all anymore. He said, I just paid $1,400 for car insurance, and I bet I don't drive 15, 20 miles in a week if I drive that much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And I heard a voice, a feminine voice in my ear that said to me, tell him about your car insurance. Well, I'm the same way as this gentleman. I don't drive a lot throughout the week. If I drive 35 miles a week, that's a lot. Mm-hmm. And so I said to him, I told him about it's called MileWise. You pay according to how many miles you drive, plus a very small fee on a daily basis, whether you drive or not. Mm-hmm. And he was really interested, and he said to me, tell me, what company? And I told him, and he went, oh, my sister was an agent for that company. And so, I gave him the information. He wanted the information, who I dealt with and so forth. And we started to say our goodbyes, and we backed up our carts, and he made this, and I could tell that I put my hand out to him, and I said to him, are you okay? And he started telling me that about an illness that he had in his hip, how painful it was. And he described it to me and everything. And I said to him, and I put my hand out to him again, and I said, now, I'm not offended. I said, I'm going to offer you something, and I'm not offended if you say no. I said, and you're going to think I'm a crazy 79-year-old lady. I said, but I've been able to talk to the angels since I was a little girl. And I have begun, and I pulled out my cell phone because I have a picture of the miracle altar on my cell phone. Mm-hmm. I said, be my honor. I said, I would be happy to pray for you, put your name on the altar, send you healing twice a day. Mm-hmm. And he looked at me and he got fixed on that I was 79. he said, you're not 79. I said, yes, I am. And he said, well, it's that gold light over your head that's keeping you from looking 79.
Yeah.
So he was seeing something. So I said to him, well, I said, it is. I said, but again, I explained the altar. And he said to me, please, Pat, would you please go ahead and put me on the altar? And I said, absolutely, no problem. So I wrote his name down and we said our goodbyes, and I went off and he went off in his direction. I finished up my grocery shopping and I was ready to go up front to check out, and I heard my name being called. And I thought, oh, they must be calling, somebody working the store. And next thing I know, here's this gentleman running up to me with his card in his hand, pushing his cart up to me. Pat. I said, I'm over here. And he said, 2 things. 1, the Holy Spirit wants me to give you my telephone number so you can check on my healing. And I said, oh, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. And he said, 2, he said, did you see how I walked over to you? And I said, no, not really. I said, I was focused on who was calling my name. And he said to me, I ran, not walked. He said, I don't have any pain.
That fast.
He said, I'm not walking with a limp.
Wow.
So you never know how the angels are going to intercede for God.
Yeah, so true. So true.
Is that something?
Yeah, that's amazing. It's amazing. Well, Pat, if people want to connect with you, if they want to, they might want to have a reading, or maybe they want to make a request that they could be on your miracle altar as well. The best way to connect with you is to reach out by email? Is that the best way to do it?
That's fine. Yes.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Your website is angelhealer555.com, correct?
That's my website, yes.
Yeah. And your email address is angelhealer555@comcast.net.
That's correct.
Okay. I'm going to put that in the show notes for everybody as well. angelhealer555.com and angelhealer555@comcast.net.
And I want people to know, don't feel that you're bothering. Yeah. This is why I am here.
Yeah.
I have been a healer for many, many years. And, Padre's told me, St. Germain's told me, I've been a healer in many past lives also. Mm-hmm. It's my honor to do this. I have no family. My work is something that I love doing. So don't hesitate to connect with me. And if I can help, my honor to do that.
I'm curious, do you want to share with people anything about your miraculous metal ministry as well? Do you want to talk about that?
That's funny because I just heard that.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. Oh my gosh. One day I was going to the grocery store and going down the road that I always drive to get there. And as I'm driving down one section, my guardian angel appeared in my car and she said to me, you're to go into that church today. And I said, really? I said, I didn't know I knew it was there. I passed it all the time, but never gave it any thought. And I said, well, and she said, the Blessed Mother wants you to go in. And I said, okay. I said, I really would like to get to the grocery store first before they get busy. I'll do it on the way back. And he didn't say anything to me. So I went back to the grocery store, came down, did a couple of errands, and started coming back the road. And I couldn't get back to where the church was at because there was construction going on. Mm-hmm. So I took the detour. And my guardian angel said to me again, "You're to go to the church today." And I said, "But I can't get there." That was the only way I knew how to get there. I said, "I promise I'll get up early. I'll go tomorrow morning." And she didn't answer me. Mm-hmm. Well, as I'm driving down the detoured road, guess where it took me? Back of the church.
Yep.
I park, I go in, and I park, and I go inside the church, not a soul in there. And I walked in, and I knew that there had been construction going on, because when I would go by every week, I noticed that there was construction, but I never gave any thought. It wasn't a church that I went to or anything. And I walked in, and my guardian angel was there, and I said to her, "Well, now what?" And she said, "Look up to the left." And there again was this gold light, just like when I saw the gold light at Our Lady of Lourdes statue. I couldn't see the church, inside the church. All I could see was this gold light. And she said, "Go to the gold light." So I went up to where the gold light was at. And there's this huge replica of the miraculous medal. Mm-hmm. Okay. And underneath there's a gold circle. And what I found out was inside this gold circle underneath, and it's covered by glass, is one of the original 9 medals that St. Catherine of Labouré casted. Mm-hmm. When they built that church in 1944, I found out that the Vatican had given the church this replica, or this relic, rather.
Right.
And off to the side is a relic of St. Catherine of Labouré. Mm-hmm. So I went up, and there was a kneeler, and I thought, well, I'll kneel down. So I knelt down, and this gold light just started flickering, and I heard my guardian angel say to me, "I have a message for you from Mother Mary." And I said, "Okay." She said, "She's asking you to be her next Catherine." Mm-hmm. And I didn't know the story. And I said, "Well, I'll do anything Mother wants, but I don't understand." And she said, "You're to go home, and you're to find out about St. Catherine de Labouré and the miraculous medal." I said, "Okay." And she said, "Once you understand, come back." So I went home, I read the information about it, and next day I went back, and my guardian angel said to me, "Mother is now telling you that you are to buy medals, and you are to give them out as either I direct you or that you feel it would benefit someone." And I said, "Fine." That's probably 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. I've given thousands out. They're free. They're a gift from Mother and I. I do touch each medal to both of the relics. And Mother has told me that what she requests that you wear it over your heart, and it will bring you peace. Mm-hmm. You can either put it on a chain. I don't like a chain around my neck. It bothers me. Mm-hmm. So I pin it to the inside of my shirt. Mm-hmm. Or if I'm wearing a bra, I'll pin it down the inside of my bra so that it touches. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I had given one to my brother, and my brother wore it until the day he passed. I believe he wore it on a chain, if I remember right. So if anybody would like one, email me and send me your address, and it's my honor to send one out to you. And if you think you would like it for somebody else, tell me that. Don't be afraid. Don't think that you're taking advantage of me. You're not. This is your gift, if you want one, from Mother.
Mm-hmm. So beautiful. And I highly encourage you, if you don't have a miraculous medal yourself, or you don't know what it is, or you feel at all drawn to it, it's such an amazing way to stay connected to Mother Mary, to the Divine Mother, to your own highest self, whatever. It just gets you in that miraculous energy. And it's a beautiful ministry that Pat's been doing. And I've sent a lot of people her way. So I'm really happy to send you her way as well. And again, you can just email her, angelhealer555@comcast.net, and send her your address. And she's happy to do that for you. Thanks for doing that, Pat. It's so amazing that you do it. I'm so grateful.
Oh, it's my honor. It's why I'm here.
Yeah, beautiful. All right. Any last things you want to share with us before we wrap up?
Nothing. I'm not hearing anything, and I can't think of anything.
Okay, beautiful. Well, I just want to encourage everybody, if you've been moved by this episode, please share it with whoever you think might enjoy it. I think it's so important to be a light on the planet, which is what Pat really is. And thank you so much, Pat, for being here. I've been praying and asking and looking for a way to get you to share your amazing work with the Magnify Your Miracles podcast community. And I'm so grateful for you. Thank you, my friend.
You're very welcome. My honor.
All right, my miraculous friend. Well, thank you so much for being here and for listening in to this beautiful episode. I'm so curious. Are you going to create your own miracle altar? Are you going to send those prayers out to people? I'm curious what you've been inspired to do. Always leave me a comment. I definitely respond to all of the comments, and I love hearing from everybody. And don't forget to share this episode with anybody you might know. And also, I really encourage you to reach out to Pat, whether it's to receive your own miraculous medal or to be put on her miracle altar, or to even better, to have a reading with her, because your life will be forever changed. Remember, my friend, that the key to magnifying your miracles is knowing that your miracle is already here. We'll see you next time, everybody. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to the Magnify Your Miracles podcast. I'm so grateful to be able to spend this time with you. If you want even more inspiration, feel free to visit my website, francisfaden.com or magnifyyourmiracles.com. And if you did enjoy this episode, I would really appreciate it if you left a review on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever it is that you connect with awesome podcasts. Remember, the key to magnifying your miracles is remembering that your miracle is already here.